Good day, beautiful people. Welcome once again to your favorite program, our favorite program, The Conversation, coming to you from TV 360 here in Lagos, Nigeria. My name is Nelson Ekujimi, and I have here with me in the studio Richard Emmanuel Adeyinka, the CEO of Data Home Research and Communications Limited. Richie, good morning and welcome to the program.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you for joining us. Well, like we all know, The Conversation is a topical issues program in which we look at happenings in Nigeria and in the diaspora. Top of the bill today on the conversation, we want to look at the brouhaha surrounding JAMB, the 2025 UTME examination, and the technical glitch as well as the retake of about almost 380,000 students, 379,007, almost 380 students that cut across the lag area, that is Lagos and the southeast states. We had this program. We discussed this topic in the previous edition of the conversation, okay. And one thing we made very clear is that we can vouch for the integrity of JAMB. We need to look ourselves in the mirror to see why repeatedly for close to a decade now, the performance of our students for UTME has been declining. In 2016, we had about 68% failure of those who scored 200 below. Then 2017, it also...
About two years ago, it's about 84%.
So
of students that scored
below 200.
Below 200.
So this year, 2025, is 78.5%, and everybody was, clamoring that what is wrong. But because of the outcry, JAMB had to quickly do a review in response.
Yes.
Ordinarily, JAMB will do a review after the examination within its own parameters.
Yes.
But in reviewing the exam, they now discovered that the system that was supposed to have been upgraded to align with the other leg of the examination marking for the other areas in the country was not upgraded to that level. So the JAMB registrar came on board and he apologized. He wept. For me, as much as I want to commend JAMB for owning up to that mistake, I must also make it very clear here that as a parent, I feel sad because we have report that one of the students lost her life. Then the trauma on the students as well as the parents is incalculable. Even the damage that has been done to the integrity of JAMB
it's huge, really, to be fair. Like you have said, while we can vouch for the integrity of Professor Ishaq Oloyede, since his assumption
in office,
same cannot be said of its vendors. Don't forget that JAMB does not own CBT centers.
Absolutely, yes.
It's a third-party system.
It's a third-party system, yes.
Now, how much do you know of what is happening there in terms of the state of the computers themselves?
That are being used.
The ambience, the
environment.
So,
but before you can be accredited by JAMB, you must have passed through some modules.
But we know. I do not want to say that is the case, but we know how things are in Nigeria. That you can get your center pass, even when it does not meet the requirements.
But as at now, we have not had reports of any center.
No, don't forget that the prof said he is taking responsibility.
Yes.
Not because he is guilty.
Yes.
But what the essence of that responsibility is that you are covering up the vendors, those who might have.
Because you are supposed to have
seen whatever is happening, and by somehow
the buck stops on your table.
You are not able to.
Yes, the buck stops on your table.
And that happened.
Yeah.
When that thing happened, I was in Ibadan. So I had some parents and I quickly did some search. You know that in Oyo State is divided into 5 zones.
Okay.
Under Ogbomoso zone, you have 5 local governments.
Okay.
Ogbomoso South, Ogbomoso North, Surulere, and 2 other local governments. Not like Lagos local government that are close together.
Yeah.
You know, that
Oyo
place
is very
is
wide.
very
Very
big.
huge,
And,
yeah.
you know, it takes time to get to. In that zone, comprising 5 local governments, only 3 CBT centers. And all the 3
don't mean
CBT centers, they are in Ladoke Akintola University
In Ogbomoso.
in Ogbomoso.
Which means
So,
people have to travel.
travel. And before that election, before that exam, some candidates lost their lives. In the process of traveling, it was reported. Some candidates lost their lives. So now the issue is that our digital infrastructure.
Is still on the very poor side.
So the prof going forward, because you know we were talking about what happened before in years past.
Yeah.
Now, because parents really didn't take it as serious as this, the stakeholders also did not put pressure on JAMB to warrant that he had to say, okay,
To know that everybody's eyes is on you.
yes, we cannot say that something like this has not been happening even in previous years. And
Yeah,
there
but
is
we didn't
because
fact check those-
we didn't fact check.
Yeah.
And parents also,
We took
you
it
know,
for granted.
once you push out a narrative, it's always on the students.
But
That
Richard,
students are
one
no
thing
longer
we cannot run away from. We have made tremendous improvements in the conduct of, you know, when it was paper based. You could be writing. You could be sitting down there, and I'm sitting, and we are writing the same subjects, and we are writing.
But later,
now,
JAMB had a way with it.
they shuffled it.
They
It's a
with
sort of shuffle.
type A, B, C, and
yes.
so
It
the man
minimized academic
Yes.
fraud
drastically. The man that is sitting with you while you are doing type A, the one that is sitting with you is doing type D.
Yeah.
So you cannot.
There cannot be exam malpractice.
And somehow that also
Brought
mitigated
sanity to our
somehow.
exams.
And when Professor Loyede came with the introduction of
CBT.
strictly CBT, the challenge is that how do we ensure that we have enough infrastructure to because 1,800, I mean 1.8 million candidates,
students, yeah.
you know, writing exam at the same time is huge.
It's huge, yes.
You need each center at least should take maybe minimum of 50 candidates at once, even though if they are going to use it
About 4 or 5 batches.
Yes, you still need large number of people, you know. So we need more of CBT centers. However, they are third parties. The integrity of those centers, of their computers, of even the internet cannot be ascertained.
But Richard, you also remember that JAMB used to conduct a mock exam to test their preparedness.
Mock, you take few. It's just
yes, no,
you know,
it's also it's just for you to have a
how
smell
of what
how
it will be.
It will be.
But eventually, during the exam
the
proper,
pressure.
you know the pressure will be
is
huge.
Yeah,
And if your system is not, if you are a CBT center,
if your bandwidth is not
strong
enough,
that can take that pressure, it will break down.
But
It will hang.
Richard, some people have also said that some of the students that they cannot operate the computer.
No, that is, see, we must not, you know, immediately after they release the JAMB result, the Minister of Education went to JAMB.
Yes.
He visited them.
Yes.
They showed him around and
Yes,
screen and
yes,
all.
yes.
And his appearance on channels the next day, he was so proud that even the failure, that's why the failure, that it was as a result of integrity of the process that was put in place.
Yes.
You know, and he now boasted that they are forcing WAEC to go
the JAMB way
through CBT by November. That is why all parents must stop the minister. Even in Lagos, how many schools have computer? And before you become so proficient in it to be able to operate it, it's not even a 1-year thing.
No, Richard, a lot of, even our kids, a lot of them can use the phone.
They
can
can
use
use
the phone of their parents.
Yes, they can
so
use the phone.
use of the computer should not be
They can use the phone,
tedious.
but it is not that simple or easy when it comes to exam. The exam comes with its own anxiety.
Oh, I agree with you.
So you must be, so it's different from when you are relaxed and you are punching,
you are playing games,
fiddling around with it's phone. Different. The fact that you are going to write exam has a pressure on you already, and when you are there, you are trying to press and you don't even know what to press. That alone is a problem. In our schools, in our secondary schools, no computer, let alone they are teaching them. Most of these schools, what they do is to teach computer from textbooks. So the people that will write exam in November, they must have been using this computer. They must have been teaching them with computer.
Even with, but Richard, a lot of schools have computer lab.
Public schools.
Public schools, yes.
How many do you know?
No, I know. You know that going to fact check them is another issue entirely.
It's on paper.
But the fact is that a lot of schools teach students computer studies. But like you have rightly said, what has come out, if they tell us that they have computers, the result we are seeing is
does not match.
It does not match. The reality does not match.
Look at the commissioner for education in Lagos that lamented almost half of the candidates who wrote the last WAEC did not make English and maths and they don't have their 5 credits.
Yes.
So he was lamenting. Yeah. So that has not been the CBTO. That is not CBTO, and that is also Lagos with resources, with investments. Yeah. What do you say about other states?
Or in those rural areas.
So if you accept you want them to fail, strictly, if you must do it, it is not a 2-3 months plan. You have to plan it 10 years.
The curriculum.
Yes, it has to be. And each school, you have to ensure that each school has a computer lab where you teach students. All of these things, if the students have been used to it, if they have been using it to practice, even to do their school exam.
Yes, the internal exam.
Internal exam, so they get used to it. It is not until when they get.
Yes.
And you know, JAMB questions, they are a notch higher than what you write even in WAEC.
You have a limited time.
You have limited time. So you must have been used to it. Use it repeatedly so that when you get there, the anxiety will not slow you down.
So Richard, from this our conversation now, what has played out is that nobody should blame anybody.
Nobody
we all have a role to play.
See, everybody has a role to play.
Yes.
By saying that children no longer read, I agree.
That's the truth.
Majority of them no longer read. They are not serious.
Yes,
I agree that majority of them fall into that category.
There was the first time I got to hear of that word, runs. I just saw a student. He was supposed to, in our days now, when you want to write JAMB, a week to nobody will see you outside again. You bury yourself in.
If I level, I had one that was
you now know another painful thing for me about our parents and students. How can your son or daughter wants to write exam on Saturday? You are going there for the first time on that Saturday. In our time, you go there to familiarize yourself with the venue.
Place. So JAMB will send you your exams. You know your
you
center.
Go and find out where is the school located so that on the day of exam, you won't be roaming about.
But that
a lot of us, we don't do it again.
So the thing has really covered the responsibilities of everyone, including parents, including government. It shows investment in education has not been deliberate and is not adequate. And there is no alignment. Federal government is spending its own. State government is spending its own as it likes. Local government is spending its own. All these people, they spend money on education.
Absolutely.
But whatever they are spending on,
is not reflected.
There is no alignment. That, okay, local government, when you spend this, state government will take it
We
from
take over,
here,
yes, and
federal government will take it over. So it becomes seamless, and results you can monitor
you can
results.
monitor results, yes.
But everybody is just doing
Whatever
he or she likes at different levels. So how do you now? But one thing we must also let the parents know is that it is not only JAMB. It is not only through JAMB your child can gain admission into the university. There are alternatives. In fact, alternative.
Richard, even if you are talking about alternatives, you are talking about alternatives to parents who are playing their role as parents in ensuring that their children are studious.
Yes.
You are talking about
you have your O level,
yes,
the credits in English and maths and 3 relevant subjects.
Credit in English and maths that somebody didn't write for you, that you went there.
Unilag is doing DLI. You can go through DLI.
JUPEB.
You have JUPEB. You have Institute of Continued Education. So you have options. I'm sure other universities too,
also
they have.
Yes.
So it is not through JAMB. As a matter, even this morning, the spokesperson of JAMB was letting parents know that what qualifies you to gain admission, to study whatever it is you want to study, is your WAEC, the O level. So parents should know once your child has O level, explore other options. Don't allow JAMB to kill the dream of your children.
Well, thank you, Richard. We've had an exhaustive conversation on this topic. We cannot exhaust it in one episode of the conversation. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I want to go on a short break. We'll be right back. Please continue to watch the conversation coming to you from TV 360 here in Lagos, Nigeria. We'll be right back.